Nope.
Hello and welcome to Devstream number 72, live from Copenhagen. I am Ritu Kraken, and with me today are Ritu Spitlash, who is a Q&A tester, and Ritu Bjarne, game director.
Duck and cover.
So today's topic, obviously we're going to talk about the squad system. Now it's up and online. We collected some Q&A questions, so we're going to answer some questions we prepared. And of course we try to answer as many questions from the chat as possible.
If we can catch them before they just go.
Don't go too crazy. We know you want to. Meanwhile, Ritu Spitlash is going to play a bit, so we're going to see what's happening there. He's going to be joined by Ritu Cecinus, so that should look nice.
We'll try and hunt him down.
Special points.
Yeah, join if you want to. The next episode is going to be a Q&A from the forum. We're going to collect some questions from you. So you had a little bit longer opportunity to actually play the whole thing. So could you please show the link?
Yes.
We prepared a forum thread for you where you can throw in all your very, very constructive feedback you have. Furthermore, we're going to talk about the optimizations we did. And of course, we have a giveaway. So, the Devstream is live, and we also already had some hot fixes going on, as you probably noticed. So we did some fixes to the matchmaker and to the UI, and we are ongoing trying to make it work better.
Yeah, I think we had a bit of a hiccup when we just first made the server live. There was a bit of I think it was I don't know if that has been told that the loop, the Warfund reward loop after the battle was sort of like giving everybody's war funds to everybody. So there must be some pretty happy generals out there. That
Our gift to you.
when we went live, we just saw the graph for war funds earnings just go. What the fuck? What's happening here?
Intended.
That's probably okay. That's probably why everybody's just deploying like crazy now, because they all have the funds.
Indeed. We also fixed the stuttering, apparently.
Yeah, we did that too.
Mini stuttering should be fixed by now.
Yeah.
There's also a last minute bug that just snuck in.
Yeah.
So.
As it happens.
Yeah, it's actually pretty. There's some of these things that are just. I know we've been running some live tests with the people from the actual game trying out the new setup, but apparently there are always just stuff that we cannot test without bringing the game live, and that's just unfortunate. We are looking into getting better procedures for having like large scale tests of the whole system, but it's a very, very complicated system, and it's actually very, very hard to test it all the way through without like having 10,000 players to do all sorts of random stuff. So
it's been a journey.
Yeah. But I guess that's just the
name of the game.
Yeah, it's just the name of the game when you're doing a live game.
Yeah. Especially introducing a feature like squad, which is
huge,
obviously huge and changing.
And also it has, like, we've been touching code all over the place. It's all the system has been somehow affected by this, and which also like introduces bugs that we just they have been very hard to find.
It's also because it kind of lays a foundation for the future stuff we want to introduce.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
So before you start,
Aye.
could you get out and show the optimizations we have done?
Yes, indeed.
Because that is also a part of the update, which is kind of also a game changer for a lot of players. Just enlarge the picture. So you can see, especially in close quarters, when you hit the wall, all the dust is reduced, all the impact effects are reduced, which results in a way better, way higher FPS and visibility. So this made a huge difference.
Actually one thing about this that maybe people it's hard to understand that, but especially the transparent effects like dust and they are very hard on the hardware, because you have to think of if it's instead of just a polygon with a texture on it, that usually you would say like that's just one time the graphics card have to draw a pixel to draw a wall, for example. when it's the particle system, it's multiple times it has to update the same pixel on the screen, which means that the resolution you guys are running, it plays a part in how slow it actually runs with the multiple particles layering, and that stuff is just one of those things that are kind of like hard to completely optimize without actually just removing the detail of the system. But that's actually what Colin has done here. Is he's been tweaking the sizing and the numbers of particles when you're close to stuff, and that actually improves performance a lot, because in these cases you can see on the before picture the dust almost covers the entire screen, and maybe there's like 10 particles on top of each other here. That means that every particle is drawn at least 11 times.
Yeah.
And do the math. That is really slow.
And the more players are in the
5 people in one room,
and everything is just going crazy.
So now it's going to be easier to fight at the capture points and other places.
Yeah, and it's also like unfortunate, because that's where all the action actually happens. Yeah. So it's like it just piles up.
So yeah, good stuff.
So, but let's do what you all have been waiting for.
Indeed.
Let's answer some questions about Squad.
Yep.
So, we go from the questions that have been asked over and over again to more kind of specific questions. So, let's start with, why can't I queue on a friend's battle?
First of all, I need to say that we are aware that we are bringing in some restrictions that mainly hit, you could say, like veteran players and players who are used to the old system, but we actually do that for a good reason. Obviously, we intend to tweak the system. We are looking at feedback and how it's perceived, and obviously we are going to make adjustments to the system, maybe add a few things and go back on a few design decisions. But our main focus here has been to reduce what you would call one of the things is reduce the steamrolling of veteran players against, you could say, like bad players or new players, but players who are not unexperienced players. And you could say like a lot of those changes are put into making the game a bit more, or you could say, some would say a lot more restrictive on veteran players who are used to being able to do all these things. Yeah. We might loosen up those restrictions a bit more when we see how it actually works. But right now we think it's better to just lay down the rules and then start to ease them up again. But to get back to the question, why can't I queue on a friend's battle? That's one of the things where we have this skill-based matchmaking system where the matchmaker tries to match players together of the same skill level, and we've figured out that this queuing up on a friend's battle actually just completely destroys that system in a lot of battles, because you suddenly you can have a battle that's actually matched pretty well with some average players, and suddenly some really good player joins in because he queued in on some friends, and that just makes the game like you could say, like player skill wise very unbalanced. So that's actually one of the reasons why we removed this feature. We are working on you could say like the next update on the squad system. Something that we didn't have time to do for this update would be to have a system where you can reach. Right now we call it linking squads, but that's so you can say like you have a squad and I have a squad and we're friends. So you can actually have your squad follow my squad instead. So you can also have a bit more like variation in the types of soldiers you bring to a match. Yeah. So that's why it was abusing the skill system. Again, sorry, I need to move the mic here. So again, it's one of those changes that and I totally understand why people find it annoying, because it totally hits you where you use it, but what you don't see is all the other players that are getting annoyed by this feature. And there's actually a lot of those changes we made that I understand people are annoyed by it, but they don't see the other side of the equation here.
Yeah, what it actually results in that
Yeah.
we changed it. Something that is connected to that, of course, is how can I pick a battle against friends on the other side? So
Yeah, we don't have any solution for that right now. If it's a thing that people request a lot, being able to battle against another player, we obviously would like to facilitate that. Shouldn't be too difficult. Once we have the linking of squads, you can always say, I'm always gonna follow these guys. But again, it's also one of those things that are open to abuse, where you can just completely go in on a say you have like an alter team, alt account team with tanks, and you just follow your friends, and you just ruin the game for everybody else by not playing the tanks on the other side. So a lot of abuse have been going on with this very open system, and we're trying to restrict that. Maybe I know we have gone pretty far with this update, and that's why I'm saying that we might need to backtrack on a few things. But it's better to see that the abuse has been limited.
Has been reduced, yeah. And as a casual players also have fun with the battles, not only the veterans. So we want to include a whole range of different kinds of players also. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of the major critique points in the game is actually that players call it very unbalanced, and it is. It's sort of these things are something that makes it at least feel unbalanced, because you get into a match, and there's some veteran players who knows all the quirky details of the system, and they play it, and that makes it even harder for not so advanced players. And I'm pretty sure that those veteran players are going to find their ways around the system as well. So it just takes some time.
We're just waiting. We're just waiting for it to happen.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that have been brought up again and again also is, why can't I change from one soldier to another soldier of another type without using the auxiliary seat?
Again, we're back to the whole switching around on the fly. I think it makes it very very hard for that large player group that we actually want to address with these changes. Actually, I think the game is not. It's not bad that it's a bit more restrictive on this field. I think that's actually okay. Because if there's tanks in the battle, obviously you have a tanker crew that plays the tank, and you will not start to interfere with that, or you will if you just switch around. Also, you can make sure that there's focus on the resources in the battle are going to be used by one team. So one thing I can say that everybody noticed that the point system for creating auxiliary slots and all things it's a point system, which means that it's open for tweaking, which also means that if we find it too restrictive, that you cannot make an infantry squad with 6 seats and
the tank crew auxiliary seats,
because there's simply not enough point. We just add some more points to the system, and then we can start to loosen up the configurations. We just want to avoid having what we internally call the so-called MacGyver teams, where just everybody have access to everything, because that sort of like dilutes the specialness of a certain class, or the appearance of a certain class in a certain battle. But it is one of those things we can tweak, is adding more, obviously adding more upgrade points, or reducing the cost of certain things. So the system is flexible enough for doing that. So. And again, it's better to start up restrictive and then adding stuff, rather than saying it's a completely open system and then again start to restrict it. So we opted for the
very
for the loosening up approach, rather than the tightening the knot even more. So
it's also something to keep in mind, I think, is that the whole squad system can of course undergo changes. I mean, we have to see how things work, how things will play out in the next few weeks. And then we start to see, okay, those are really reoccurring issues, which we have to address.
Exactly.
And it will be addressed if we see, okay, this is a problem. This is obviously a problem for the majority of players.
Yeah.
So
Well, actually, I've already discovered one problem myself that we will fix. That is the thing when you put into these auto squads, we call them internally, the squad where you just put into like a generated squad, that the picking order of who is going to be the squad leader.
Oh yeah, that's also one of the questions.
Yeah, no, okay, sorry, I can take that straight away then. With the right now it's just randomized because we thought that doesn't really matter who is the squad leader, but obviously it does matter who is the squad leader. So first of all, it should be obviously the highest ranking soldier, the squad leader. But we're also discussing a way internally in the squad to actually just hand over the command to one of the other players. Because that would also solve the problem where you, as a squad leader, change to another soldier, and you obviously not have the correct rank to be a squad leader. You could pass the command to one of your teammates while you play with that soldier. So that there is we are discussing how to ease up on these things. Also, there's been discussed that if I have two rank 10 soldiers, why can't my other soldier then take over the command? And obviously he should be able to do that as well. Yeah. So that's one of the things that I think it wouldn't hurt too much to.
But that would only be true for the same type. So if the squad leader changes to the auxiliary seat and goes from infantry squad to armor squad. Yeah,
there's something like that where you would need to. It's annoying that you lose the command, and but when we created the system, we thought sort of that as a squad leader as being like a role you play, you direct the other guys around on your attack, and it seems like there's a lot of players who actually both want to be the squad leader and do all the stuff that he's supposed to command his squad members to do. That can also have obviously if your squad members doesn't do what they're told, it can be very frustrating to that they're not doing what they should. Yeah. And obviously there's another thing as well with the being able to do the squad leader stuff with a lower ranking soldier. You just switch to would earn you like you would have a way to cheat the system with the ribbon stuff. The ribbon progression, but we could make some changes where you just switch off that stuff if you switch to another soldier, or if he's if he has the appropriate rank, you just switch it over. So.
But I think handing over squad leadership, that is a very cool idea.
Yeah, I think we had it in the beginning, but we just didn't. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff that needs to be fixed on to get this whole feature up and running. And we have like a list of stuff that we actually want to implement that just wasn't put. We just didn't have time to do it for this update. And you can also say that the feedback we get from players makes it that sort of like prioritizes that list for us. Yeah. We have it was in the original in our design it was called the second in command feature, where you just pass the command temporarily to another soldier.
So let's go further. So some questions from the forum is from Red Fox 4. Can an infantryman spawn into the gunner position of a tank, which another member is using through the auxiliary seat?
Wow.
And I think generally on mobile spawn, how does it work?
I think that you need to figure out what the setup here is. Is it a tank squad with an auxiliary?
The other way around. Like
infantryman he should be able to do that, yeah. If not, then I guess it's not a bug. Is this like something he tried out and it doesn't work, or is it something that
I don't know? He just asked the question.
Obviously, he's a member of the team, so that he should be able to.
So as a squad member, you can spawn into other vehicles.
Because that's kind of like the idea.
And use the gunner seat.
Yeah, that's you can spawn on team members' vehicles. Yeah. So yeah. The question is not super clear, so I'm a bit confused here, because you could also say if you could spawn on another tanker who is if you have an infantry squad where you switch to the tank auxiliary, are you able to spawn on another tanker's tank?
Nope.
I don't think that's possible.
That should not be possible.
No. Okay.
We had that, and if you can't customize your squad, the rule is you always have to have one friend already invited.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the things where it's a technical thing on how the server handles the whole creating the squad. And I must say that we've heard that from a lot of players, that they get confused about the squad menu. Where can I just got this point, where can I use it? And you have to invite somebody. So that's something that we do need to address in how can we make this more clear. I think the reason why from the programming point of view is that you don't want people to start customizing the squad before they invite people, is that you can easily get into some conflicts with the points being assigned to a player that a squad where you suddenly have a choice that wasn't valid before, and then you have to sort of somehow revert that
choice made.
That choice.
Yeah.
But it's probably something that's solvable.
So
obviously the UI changes is ongoing. We are, it's one of those systems where, there are some things that were hard to explain, and they still are. There's all sorts of things where you could say that one thing that would be nice to have as well is somewhere to tell your squad members to get ready. Right now it's like, get ready, get ready.
That would be good. I think I saw a screenshot of, why is a requirement missing? Why can't we go to battle? And I think I saw, somebody didn't press ready.
But the thing is that that's how it works now. If you don't press ready, then you can't go into battle. So we didn't think that it would be business as usual. But here I think that's where we sort of like, we make a new feature where everybody's put into the squad. Then it suddenly becomes a problem that you have to know how the system works before. So it's one of those things where we should make a squad leader can poke his members. Gently poke them.
Exactly.
Very gently.
Are you getting beat up here?
Yeah. How's it going?
It's actually going pretty well. I've got Sasinus to guide me as my squad leader.
Is he doing a good job then?
He's doing an excellent job. He's protecting me. And
who's your third member?
This guy called Boilder. He's doing okay.
Yeah?
Maybe a bit confused. Around. But he was with us at the access point, and when we pushed up to the church, and then he kind of started doing his own thing. That's fair enough.
He can do that, so?
He's not going to get, the bonus points. That's fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Game was fun.
Good. So we go on. Let's go to the war side of the game. So I have a question of K-Smith. Oh, it's so far.
We destroyed Germany.
The whole of Germany?
Again.
The whole of Germany?
The whole of Germany.
Really, it's nothing left? What happened to my parents?
I don't know.
I don't know. Take another one. Switch teams.
Another, as
Another
Thor
one.
says. Yeah, indeed.
There's the Germans, maybe.
We could try out the Germans. We could. She's up for that.
Okay, we go on. K-Smith. He assembled some questions, and here's one of them. If an AT is sent in late, and nobody has a corresponding auxiliary seat in their squad, that AT will not get used, and will lose morale. No more nice generals trying to give squads a chance with extra resources, because there's a chance they will not get used and lose morale. So, is that a problem?
I would say yes if that happens like in a lot in a row, then you actually get destroyed. But usually that would probably not be. You'd lose some morale, but you'd gain it again. So I don't see that as a major problem.
Aren't the assault teams also more or less used by whole squads? Not necessarily only through auxiliary seats.
Yes, that's true. But also you just have to be one resource being used, and then the assault team is marked as has been active in the battle. So I wouldn't say that that's one of those edge cases where you said, the system allows for this to happen, but in real life, obviously, if it just happens all the time, we need to address it. But as long as it doesn't do that, it's not a problem, I would say. We have a lot of those edge cases where people cook up or think up some sort of like a solution for a scenario where you say this is just where this is shit because this can happen, and then when you start to think about it and you see it on live, it never happens.
It doesn't actually happen
because people are just doing other stuff.
Busy doing other stuff.
Yeah, but we are actually talking a little bit about the thing is that we have been looking into increasing the number of players per in a battle, so we could actually, you could say, like we could hold back some player positions in the war battles, and then have those seated if a general sends in more tanks, for example. Then we could match in at an additional tank squad later in the match. We just need to figure out if we can see now that the one thing I was live last night and tried a few battles just with random people. And one thing I noticed is that it seems like the battles are much more concentrated now on the attack lines because of the teams are actually fighting on the same line. So it seems like it's much more focused, and that obviously it seems like it's an increase of players in the same spot.
I mean, that's the impression I got in this battle and the previous ones, that I'm actually much more surrounded by my own teammates.
Yeah, and that could
a nice feeling.
yeah, but that could open up for actually holding back a few, not putting in 18 players, but maybe 16 players, and then having a few slots in reserve for filling in if there is resources later that's added. That where nobody have the no paratroopers, for example, it could the matchmaker would actually be able to send in a paratrooper team in the middle of a battle. So that's kind of like some of the things that we are talking about. That some of the more special roles we could actually hold back positions for those if the game allows it.
To allow more varied kind of.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work on one of those assault battles where you have 5 open lines, but there's never players enough to hold those lines anyway, so they're quickly like shut out anyway. So I don't think that might be that much of a problem. But yes, some of these scenarios we are looking into, seeing if we need to make some special adjustments for those cases.
I just saw in solo as in your team.
I think so, yeah.
Fun. Yeah. Not in your squad, but in your team.
Yeah.
Hello. Fun. Hello. You made it. See, we have, I think...
I remember this, what was it, last night? That they were actually... What is he doing? He's headbanging. Yes. Last night there was actually a few battles where it was a freeway and there was 40 versus 40. That must have been crazy. Fun and chaotic at the same time.
And you just died.
And I just got wrecked by a paratrooper. PJs. It's all good. Anyway, to continue.
I think now we switch over to chat questions.
Yeah, I can see
Shall
that Mr. Robotron has already collected a few for me.
Oh,
here.
that's good.
Let's see. There's Morris Man saying hello. I'm 10 minutes late. Can we start over? Oh yeah, can we?
Please no.
Sure.
Cotton Game was asking any comments on how we are forced to choose our squad loadout before we know what we're fighting, choosing tank auxiliary seats, and there's no tanks in the battle, etc., etc. We are queuing and building our loadouts blind. We can't correct the error in battle. Yes, I think I touched on that before about the system being very restrictive right now. We can with the system add some more customization points, upgrade points. So you would be able to broaden your squad a bit more, to cover more seats or classes, but not all. So that's sort of like one of those things we need to figure out. Where is the balance of too much different and too little? And it seems like it's a bit too restrictive. So we could add a few more points, which would open up for having always a tanker slot, or always a recon slot, or something.
And the paratrooper, so you can actually choose in the battle.
Yeah, so you can see
whatever resources are there, whatever the battle.
I think now
demands.
Right now the system is made so that you have to choose either you have a full squad with the full number of players and no auxiliary seats,
Yes.
adding a few more points was actually make sure that you can always have a full squad and one auxiliary seat of one. So that can be, you could say, like adjusted, and there aren't that many combinations anyway. So it would just be adding 1 or 2 more points, and then for at least for the veteran players would be covering most bases here. And obviously, you have to also think one of the things is that this actually goes for the other team as well. So what is
true enough?
And that's we're getting back to the whole thing about the being able to do everything every time. It's just part of the game's basic idea is that sometimes you're just unlucky that this is not possible, and you have to fight your way around it, the problem, not seeing as, I can't do it any of this. I know most of you are really, especially the veteran players, are really good players, and I'm pretty sure they can can fight anyway. They can get around it. So I think that was that. Croatia is saying, hey, funny that playing Rato guy is trying to watch around corner in real life.
You're making
sorry, yeah, I totally get into games, so I'm sitting like this and dodging. It's pathetic, I know.
I do that too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
If I play racing games, it's
you sit like this?
It's almost ridiculous. Yeah.
No, that's good.
Big old Badun
10 out of 10
is saying clans have to now decide between a few large infantry squads or smaller useful squads, meaning lots of clan players having to have ATs in the same battle. Is anything being talked about to help these clan links squads to reduce their current hell or complicated mass so they can fight all together? Yes, again, I was talking about before the linking of squads, so you can actually make a few smaller squads and linking them together and trying to get into the same battle. Obviously, again, Matchmaker Matchmaker likes small squads, doesn't like large squads, because that's just, you do the math, it's harder to find a battle where these things fit. But again, linking in the squads might just pop up a message saying you have to know that your waiting time will be a lot more because you're now trying a much more complicated setup. So yes, the linking of the squads is something that we're looking into. Yeah. Actually, one of the things that we also I hate that I have to talk about all the stuff that we didn't put into the squad, but actually the whole idea with the generals and the squads was that the generals can have a list of these are my preferred squads. So whenever I send in my troops and these squads are ready, or one of those squads ready, they will be like matched into his preferred. So we have like a link between a general and a squad, because that would also make sure that
cool.
A general that only wants to direct troops and not actually be involved in all single battle, he would be able to just have a list of all his, for example, a clan with a lot of soul teams, he would actually just be able to request all his clan members' squads and make sure that they always plays with his resources. But we didn't have time to do that. So let's see if there's any.
But that's just keeping in mind we are not finished with that yet.
Yeah.
So there's loads of more incoming that will change a lot of things that are complained about now.
Yeah, it takes time to actually adjust it, and I know it's kind of like it's a big change. I think we tried to warn people in the beginning of a few weeks ago that this is going to change the way the game is played. So it's maybe it's a bit too harsh or too much of a change in one go. But I just didn't really see how we could like ease it in. It's better to just go bam, here we go, and then start to maybe backtrack a few of the changes.
It's also just necessary to see how it actually plays out on live.
Yeah,
you can't just work for months on one feature without ever having it live and played by the majority of players. It's very hard to see where the real issues are.
I can say here, Challenger 303 is asking, are there any plans to allow people to play against friends in competitive battles? Those are way more fun in my Discord server. I think also I touched on that before, that the linking of squads might be, when we've done that, it might be easier to do a link up with an opposing squad and then head on. So that probably could be fun to do. Let's see if I can find some more interesting questions here.
When are we gonna get horses? This would be great.
Now he started something. There are horses in the game.
Oh, dead horses.
Yes,
Makes me sad.
but it's horses.
Oh,
I didn't
That
know
works.
I didn't know you were a pony boy. Was that a Panzerwolf, Mina?
that was a lawn dart.
Ah.
Yes. Strong.
Segnorn is asking, why does the auto-generated squads use a basic template rather than the customized squad of the person that is assigned squad leader? The thing again is that the auto squads is basically only for one match, and I think I said it before that it's a little bit odd that it sometimes is a low-ranking soldier that's picked for being the squad leader. If we would pick a high-ranking squad leader when they are finished with the first match and come back out into the squad window, that squad leader would be able to actually customize the squad and move on, because now it's a persistent squad.
Yep.
So it would only be in the instance of having a squad made up entirely of rank 5 and below soldiers. But again, the feature is designed for new players to not be overwhelmed with complexity in the beginning of their journey into the game. And a lot of these complaints are from veteran players. We are going to adjust that, obviously, if it takes too long to get to rank 6 and all that. There's some tweaks that needs to be done, but you have to remember we are right now moving in a direction where we are trying to simplify the game for new players, because it is a very complex system, and one of these things is actually to limit their possibilities in the beginning of the journey.
And this is currently works on, right, to make the journey through the game just easier, which also makes for better gameplay and better players in the end.
Yeah, and
because they have a learning process that is more.
I think one of the things that we are currently working on internally is to unlock, like you say, like features in the game more smoothly, so new players will not have the same possibilities as the veteran players. And the whole thing about the squad system is exactly that you're not asked to do anything other than just play the game in the first matches. Unfortunately, right now with the current update, a lot of veteran players are being faced with the same problems, which they obviously shouldn't have been.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where we obviously we listen to all the veteran players' complaints about this stuff, but we also need to listen to how new players are experience the journey. On do they learn it while going for rank 6, or they're still just as confused as before?
Yeah. So that makes for just better players on the battlefield, which makes it nicer for veteran players to play too, because
let's see here.
Cotton Gamer asked something, I think, about unlocking vehicles.
I had one before.
One before?
The chat is just, I can't really separate the. Is Mein Herz is asking, any news about to make possible grouping ATs on global map? If you have +7 ATs, control them, it's hard. Any news on that? No, not in the pipeline. We are discussing a more flexible solution with the assault teams, where you can sort of, like, in the same way you can customize your squad, you can customize the assault team, so bringing in different types of resources to the same assault team. But
Nice.
that's still just a design concept discussion thingy. Then there's Cotton Gamer again. He's on fire. Locking and unlocking vehicles. the non-squad members that can't use support guns is flawed. Imagine a squad of 3 tankers, each has their own tank. Those support gunner seats will not get used because there's only non-squad members left to use them. What if we actually want to support gunner? I actually just talked to the programmer this morning that handles this stuff, and we agreed that we should put in just a simple unlock button, so you can actually unlock the whole vehicle for everybody, or you can say restrict to just squad members. So I think that it makes perfect sense that it's annoying that you just can't have anybody else jump in. We obviously need to figure out what to do because it's easy for, like, people are mean. It's easy to grief it that you can have people jump in and you just lock it. And what should happen if you lock the gunner seat while
they're sitting in?
While somebody's sitting in it, should he just be kicked out, or should you just leave it there?
Switch to the passenger seat, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, but it could be something that would be perceived as being annoying, being removed from the seat instantly after you join it. So, and we see that all the time when we introduce something that's supposed to be good for some. There's always somebody who's just gonna go, I'm just gonna. So we need to be careful about this stuff. But it makes perfect sense to have that kind of freedom to have the gunners in.
I want a remote for that.
Beep beep. Yeah.
Let's see, Tom Gaming 2. A new pilot joined a fighter squadron. Pilots don't capture points equals no backup seat. That squad fight against veteran German pilot who killed the new pilot over and over for the whole match, and the new pilot lose a lot of money.
So you can't switch to another type, I think he's saying.
So he's saying that if you are unlucky and you join in as a new player in a fighter squadron and you just get owned, and then you're in a squad where you can't switch to something else during the battle. Yes, that's again, if you are matched into I presume when you reach the fighter pilot, you are of a certain rank. But it is one of those things that it is obviously possible to join in, be matched into a fighter squadron that only has fighters, and you get owned, so you can't do anything other than try and fight your way out of it. I think, again, because the matchmakers now has better opportunity to actually match the players of the same skill level into matches. It should be less of a problem. You shouldn't be matched so much against super veteran players. And obviously this change again is one of those where our focus has been to make it a bit easier for new players or unexperienced players. So it would be harder for the veteran players to just steamroll you. It makes sense to at least discuss if the auto-generated squads should have some sort of an in-game possibility of adding an auxiliary seat while you're playing, for example.
Can you
that hasn't been. We haven't found any concrete solutions for that.
Scroll down. At the battle.
There we go.
Nice. Remember squad benefit.
That's quite a lot of points.
That is quite a lot of points.
This is a significant increase in.
Neat.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you. I think I can thank the whole team for that.
That was representative of the whole team. For the whole team.
Oh my, I've got a new.
Neat.
The Reaper wants to be my friend.
So.
I'll have to think.
I think there's a lot of these questions that go into the I can see into the subject of the auto-generated squads don't have the same flexibility as the permanent squads. And as you say, that we might need to look into somewhere where you can actually see the guy who is selected to be the squad leader. He actually gets to customize the squad in battle
Yep.
to use whatever points he have available.
He has left. Yeah.
That wouldn't be breaking any systems there, because
No.
he would be the squad leader when the game is the match is over anyway, and the customizations would just be there. So that might be
a good possibility to actually use them.
obviously again it could be the thing where people just wait with customizing the score, always join in on the random ones, because it's an advantage to be able to choose later. There's also a thing where it's we have some problems where it's hard to predict what are you going to meet in a certain battle, because you don't really know. So it's kind of like we ask players to make a choice where they don't really know what am I going to make a choice against.
Yeah, and also when I get thrown into a battle, will there be tank resources, or won't there be? And I've chosen that. I might be unlucky. So yeah.
I say the auxiliary seats has always been thought of as being like your backup, and not your
main
main focus.
Yeah.
So it's again. People have been complaining a lot about there's been too many tankers, or too many this and too many that. And the only way to restrict that is to make sure that you have to make that decision before you go into the battle, so we can limit the number of players playing a certain role.
Yeah.
Again, adding some more upgrade points would make it a bit more flexible. So it's more a matter for us to add 1 or 2 more points, and if that's not enough, add one more until we think it's well balanced. So that's definitely something that's possible.
That was one of the main complaints with the whole I can't change to another soldier, is reacting to situations on the battlefield.
Yeah.
But since both sides are restricted, I mean, the situation does not change as much.
Yeah. So, okay. More questions? There's lots of questions. I just need to scroll down.
Oh dear.
Keep them to, guys, the questions, keep them to about the squad stuff, because I can see a lot of players are asking all the regular questions, more maps, more...
Keep them squad.
We want to discuss squad stuff today.
When will Swiss faction come? It was promised.
It was prophesied.
Oh dear.
Queen's TC is asking, I've noticed a lot of KF battles of tanks versus infantry, where the tankers cannot become infantry or vice versa.
Well, they need an auxiliary seat.
Yeah, but I think that one of the thing is what we were planning to actually give players a lot of, especially the veteran players, give them a lot of rank ribbon XP, so they would like start out with a lot of points. Something came up in the last end that we couldn't do that for some reason. We just didn't have the data or whatever to do that. So unfortunately, a lot of the veteran players have to sort of like start over. It was our intention to give them a lot of XP, so they would start up with a lot of points. Hopefully, it's not too hard to get to the point where you have enough upgrade points to start using the system as
it is intended. Yeah.
So,
but how is that actually in the matchmaker?
Sorry?
In the stage games, the resources are balanced, and you're actually not matched up against.
Yeah, there was also. I think there was a bug also that did something where there's only one type of tank available or something like that. I can't really remember what it was, but there has been some bug fixes on that as well.
So that should work better now.
Yeah. Magic Moshi 1 is asking, can you introduce a ping limit so we don't get into high ping matches? The matchmaker should actually work on a ping limit, so you shouldn't be put into a high limit, a high ping. But I'm not entirely sure of how that system actually works, so can't really come up with a good question, good answer for that question. Whoa, there's one guy relaying other guys' questions.
Now that's organization.
I thought I was Robertson.
Dash Broken Skills is saying yes. I don't know what he's saying yes to, but
that's
something
good.
we said maybe.
That sounds positive, so we take
Can you please make it so that unlocking a tank takes less time than a tanker to spawn in drive to the location from where you are at to already hit it once you have half armor, and then he just finished you off. I'm not entirely sure I understand that sentence. What does it mean?
I don't know. Make it so that unlocking a tank takes less time than a tanker to spawn. So unlocking shall take less time than actually spawning
Yeah. No. Yeah.
and driving in a location where you already are, I think.
So he's saying that
That the unlocking is taking too much time, I think.
Yeah. So
if I understand correctly.
Yeah.
Can we?
Maybe we have the badges for the unlocking, which actually speeds it up quite a lot. The gold unlock badge is just insanely fast to unlock stuff if you have that. You guys are crazy. I have. There's a demon Valentine, or you could make a kick out button for your vehicle. As discussed before, which evil do you prefer?
Take your pick.
I think this is one of the, no matter what you decide in the end,
Yeah.
there is always a flaw. Because either you piss people off by kicking them out, or you're locking them in, or
Yeah.
you restrict the whole thing. So I think a completely perfect solution on this is not really possible. So
No.
we'll see. But I like the choice of locking and unlocking. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think that's the least.
Yeah, maybe just moving the players to the. Maybe we should just assume that people would not abuse it. So.
Yes, let's do that.
We've done that in the past, and it doesn't really work.
Doesn't quite work out.
We try again, but
I wonder why.
He's actually saying, that would be easier to make, but you can only kick people out when in slow speed, or so they don't die, because that's another thing. It's like kicking out people at full speed, you just kill them.
Yep.
That's another way to.
Not good. Is it actually?
Griefing.
Would that be counted as? Is it counted as suicide or as a team kill? That's suicide, right?
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So, I think they would just be sitting there. You cannot get rid of them. Once they're in, they're in.
They're stuck. You're stuck with them. So I think we have 5 official minutes left.
There is.
Is there something good left?
Something about some cooldown on changing characters in the same group. We are discussing some time penalties for doing stuff, but not on the switching of the roles
characters.
of the character roles. No. It would sort of like make the whole change pointless if it was allowed again to just freely switch. We really wanted to get away from this, where you just have access to everything all the time, because it does bring some problems with it. Obviously, it's unfortunately it's problems that you, as veteran or good players, don't see, because you see them from the other side of the match, which is why it's so hard to accept that we made these changes. But we actually do believe it's for the better.
Try this one.
Oh.
I think.
Shinma is asking, all specialty squads should have infantry points as default auxiliary seats unless customized. That's what I'm talking about. The more points is that we could make it so that it makes sense to always add an infantry auxiliary slot for your squads. For example, for your tanker squad, so you have the opposite choice to do. That's a good one.
Also, I think what's interesting to mention is the squad number ribbon points.
Yeah.
You can only use them when you're a squad leader. So the point system is thought. It's now thought for you to be a squad leader.
Yeah.
And you cannot use them as a squad member.
No. Another future update. That's the reason why we introduced both ribbons at the same time, because we could have put everything into just the squad leader ribbon. The reason for us to introduce the squad member ribbon as well in this iteration is to make sure that people would actually get points on the squad member ribbon. So when we eventually introduce the squad member customization, so you can actually sort of like tweak your role in the squad. For example, then you would use your member point, or you will use your points as a member, which is sort of like the idea behind this. And that obviously can be a bit confusing because it's not explained anywhere that we intend to do that at some point.
Yeah.
A role could be, I want to play the machine gunner on this squad, so I change my squad role to be machine gunner on an infantry squad, and then I get certain advantages if I have a machine gunner soldier. Obviously, I would have to get some disadvantages if I switch to a different soldier during the battle, but it would give me some advantage. And again, it would make of setting up your squad where you sort of like say you're gonna be the AT guy, I'm gonna be the machine gunner, I'm gonna be this and this. So you sort of like put different roles on your team members before you start up in the battle. That would give you a better chance in the game. But we didn't introduce those yet, so.
It also is again less rigid. I think when you have the possibility to specialize yourself. You have the feeling that the whole system is less rigid, and you have the possibility to change your role.
Yeah.
So
maybe you should introduce the special role of infantry sniper, so we reduce the number of scopes that I hear people are complaining about.
What? This is news to me.
That happened. So.
Can you please let me issue orders as a squad leader to my infantry squad when I use tank auxiliary seats? Is the Domingo asking? And I would say, again, we are sort of like discussing this thing where when the squad leader changes to another soldier, he should be able to pass on the like a role, you can say, like appoint a second in command that will take over the command role while he's in another position. You could argue that maybe you should be able to for example, you have infantry squad and you switch to the tanker slot, and you should be able to continue giving the orders, but it probably would be just as effective to just pass on the leader role to some of the other members while you are the tanker guy. So
it's also, isn't there a problem with the tank crewman not being able to? He's able to give the orders but not fulfill. That is not really a problem, but tank crews also have different orders.
Yeah, they have different orders, so that would be another a bit weird thing. But good point.
Let's close it here, I think.
Yes.
We'll have another session on the next Devstream, though there's plenty of questions you still can ask on the forum topic.
I sense that it's the same 4 questions that are going to be asked all the time.
Yep.
But actually, I have been following a few of the threads out there on the forum, and if you guys can keep down the rage and try and come up with some just the solutions or something that you see, this is just unacceptable, we want this and this change, or this and this then we have something to work with, rather than just being because we're not going to change the system back to what it was before. So this please roll back, not going to happen. But change stuff and work with it, possibly going to happen. So
especially if you have really good input, that sparks our ideas of how we could change stuff.
I think, was it the Flying Cow who made that excellent post that got sticky?
Yeah,
that's a really good example of something that usually spreads like wildfire in here. So, this is a cool post, read it, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's do something everybody waited for. It's a giveaway.
Is it time?
You know what to do?
I think so.
Start now.
So do the exclamation mark gold.
Exclamation mark gold. Type it in the chat. Press enter.
You can win 1,000 gold. You'll be rich.
You'll be so rich.
Buy all the stuff in the game.
I don't see any squad. Really. They're not going amok. They're not doing anything.
They're not doing
it? What? Are you not doing it?
Something happening.
I don't see anybody typing.
I see a lot of entered users here.
Oh yes, okay.
At least
Let's give it a bit more.
it's growing.
Maybe it's just my
Yes.
chat who just died.
I think so. Reload.
Twitch chat suddenly went silent.
What's the price?
The price is
Oh.
1,000 gold coins.
Yes.
Isn't that attractive? Let's stop in 3, 2, 1. Stop!
Did it?
Big winner.
Okay.
Who is
Go.
it? And Solo. This
It's
can't be.
no.
That's oh come on. Say something and Solo.
Hashtag
Is that real?
Rigged.
Is that real?
what the hell?
If
Wow.
we believe it's rigged, like
Not only
what the
get-
fuck did he do?
He gets into our game again in the stream. Is that the second time he went?
Congratulations and Solo.
We've been blessed.
There's something wrong here, but congratulations anyways.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. These are the droids you're looking for.
This was not the winner we were looking for, but
This is not the winner you're looking for.
so you can just end your game in peace.
Yep.
I think.
Nice.
Support your squad.
Yes.
And we will do a short recap. So today we basically talked about squad.
You see all the burn marks.
More squad.
We also talked about the optimizations done to the bullet impacts of small weapon, and we've seen split lash play with Casinos. We still do actually, and we did our giveaway. Don't forget that next week, in 2 weeks, we're gonna do a special Q&A session again when everything calmed down a bit. So post your questions to the forum thread we announced before. I'm sure somebody will type it in or show it shortly on the chat. If you missed the beginning, you can watch it on YouTube by tomorrow. Follow this Twitch channel. I do it for the first time. I should point to the right. I'm sure I'm doing the right thing. This Twitch channel, not him. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Steam, and on heroesandgenerals.com. And we'll be back on Friday, the 10th of June, with more in Squad. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. See you on the battlefield.
Bye.
Bye bye.